Dalton City Council meeting to order. Mr. Mock will lead us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Before you, our agenda will have two changes. One is the addition of, with the presentation from Dalton State College, update from Dr. John Fuchko, to also include Georgia Northwestern Technical College, Dr. Heidi Popham, and students that are accompanying both institutions this evening, and to add to the bottom of our agenda, the city administrator report.
I move we amend as you've outlined.
I'll second that.
Motion a second, all in favor? Any opposed? We have any public commentary this evening? Have any cards? Having none, we'll go on that we have a proclamation this evening. It is American Red Cross Month, and I believe Carla Matten, the Executive Director of the American Red Cross of Northwest Georgia, is here this evening. If you want to come down front, read this. Really appreciate you guys being here this evening. Thank you all for what you do for our community of Northwest Georgia. I've had the nice opportunity to accompany some folks with installing smoke detectors with Dalton Fire Department several months back. If you want to come on over, Bruce is going to get a picture if you guys want to. I'll do this proclamation, but really appreciate what you all do and that opportunity at no cost to citizens to get the smoke detectors and what you all do for that awareness, among many other people that you all help our community. Whereas during American Red Cross Month in March, we recognize the compassion of people in the city of Dalton and reaffirm our commitment to care for one another in times of crisis. And whereas this generous spirit is woven into the fabric of our community and advances the humanitarian legacy of American Red Cross founder Clara Barton, one of the most honored, Clara Barton. It's Carla and I get Clara Barton, one of the most honored women in our country's history, who nobly dedicated herself to alleviating suffering. And whereas today, kind-hearted individuals in our community exemplify Barton's commitment as they step up through the Northwest Georgia chapter to provide a beacon of hope for our neighbors in need. Through their voluntary and selfless contributions, they make a life-saving difference in people's darkest hours, whether it's delivering shelter, food, and comfort during disasters, providing critical blood donations for hospital patients, supporting military families, veterans, and caregivers through the unique challenges of service, saving lives with first aid, CPR, and other skills, or delivering aid and reconnecting loved ones separated by global crises. And whereas we hereby recognize this month of March in honor of all those who lead with their hearts to serve people in need, and we ask everyone to join in this commitment to strengthen our community. Now, therefore, be it resolved, I, Anna Lee Sams, Mayor of the City of Dalton, Georgia, do hereby proclaim March 2024 as Red Cross Month. I encourage all citizens of our city to reach out and support its humanitarian mission. Thank you for what you guys do. Thank you. Okay. Yeah. Thank you, guys. Next, we have presentations from Dalton State College update, Dr. John Fuchko, and Dr. Heidi Popham from Georgia Northwestern Technical College will go next. Thank you all for being here this evening. I believe that I speak for everyone up here and so many in our community in Northwest Georgia that the higher education we have is one of our greatest assets. So thank you for being here to share this evening.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, for having us here, and welcome to everybody. I will just add, as a two-time combat deployed veteran, that I particularly appreciate the Red Cross because if you don't know, whenever you have something difficult happen back home, they actually process those messages through the Red Cross. They handle notifying soldiers in their commands so they can go back home to be with their family. So they actually play a pretty significant role there, which you might not know about if you're not in the military. So I'll just want to give you a brief update, but you'll get a lot of facts, and our SGA president is going to hand out just a little reading material, light reading material for you. And so I'm going to let you really, though, focus on our students because they're the highlight of what we do and who we are and why we're all here. I will note, though, for this past fall, we reached just under 5,000 students, which is a pretty significant growth for us. That was actually an 8.2% increase over the last fall, which made us, I think, the second fastest growing percentage increase growth of an institution in the state of Georgia in the university system. So we're really proud about that. The numbers aren't official yet, so they'll be official in a little bit, but for spring, we're looking at a nearly 10% increase in enrollment. So we're really excited about that. You probably know this, maybe you don't, but 91% of our students are from Northwest Georgia, and just at about half of those are right here in Whitfield County and Dalton. So a lot support from that area. But I also tell you, we have 27 states and 35 other countries that we have students coming to us from. So we're happy to have them as well. Over 50% of our students are first generation college students, meaning they're the first person in their family to go to college and to graduate from college. And so, all of those, I think, allow us to help partner with the city and with the people and the businesses that make up our community here and our community around Northwest Georgia. So we're really proud about that. I have to mention a little bit about our national championships. We have 5 national championships over the last several years. Both our men's and women's golf, some of the individual members of those teams, our men's golf team themselves, and then our men's basketball team, 2015, and probably would have done it again in 2020, but COVID snuck in there and kind of shut down, unfortunately, a lot of those championships. But they were right on track to make it happen. And our men's soccer team actually made the final 8. Nationally this year as well. So a lot of good fun stuff happening there. I hope you all get out to the Bandy Gym to watch some men's basketball when it happens, or out to watch some soccer. But we of course wrapped up our last home game with a crushing win over Middle Georgia State University a couple weeks ago. I think we beat them by over 30 points, and they're actually getting ready to go D2. So we felt like we gave them a good send-off from that. And I mean that with all due respect to any of our friends from Middle Georgia State, of course. I'm going to close my remarks with just noting there's one other number I like to share, and that is the Wall Street Journal named Dalton State College the #1 college in the country for student experience. And that means #1 public, #1 private, #1 university, #1 college, large, small, you name it. We beat out all of them in that. And that was largely a reflection of the way our own students and our alumni ranked their experience at the college. So that's frankly also part of being able to be here in Dalton, have that experience, because they're talking about the whole community and the whole experience that they have. So we got a lot to be proud of. You've got a lot to be proud of, because it's this city, it's this community that has been such a huge part of building the college from when it started, chartered in 1963, to when we opened our doors in 1967 to doing what we do today. So I'm going to be followed briefly by Mackenzie Manley, who is our student government president. And I've got to know Mackenzie very well, but I'll let you tell him a little about himself when he introduces himself. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Fushko. Thank you for letting us again be here today and talk about what's going on in Dalton State. If you guys don't have the pleasure of knowing Dr. Fushko, he's someone you might want to know. He's absolutely the man, the myth, the legend of our campus right now. I had the privilege of knowing him the first day he stepped on our campus, and I could not be more excited of what he's doing for our students now and what he plans to do for them in the future. So like he said, I'm Mackenzie Manley. I'm from Fort Oglethorpe, Georgia. I'm one of our BSN students. I graduated from Heritage High School in 2019, and I'm also one of the recent graduates of our ASN program just this past fall. I currently work at Hamilton Medical Center in the community as one of our registered nurses on one of the medical surgical floors. And I also have the honor and privilege of being our student body president this year. So like he said, I'm going to be talking about the student experience and what that entails. We've had a couple of changes over these past couple of years, really looking at what our student experience is and how we can refine it. First and foremost, we are looking at, or you may see or notice the physical aspects of our campus. We've had a lot of renovations going on, right? So just in September, he mentioned the Bandy Gymnasium. We actually opened back up. It was under construction for about a year, and our students cannot get enough of it. This year, we actually added a feature where now the gym is open on weekends and students are constantly there. I'm hearing about the gym. I go to the gym. I see the gym is consistently being used. We also have Lowerbaum, our liberal arts building that just went under construction, which is slated to be opened in the fall semester. And then we also have the student hub that is going behind Mashburn, which is going to be sort of a recreational activities facility where we're going to have a basketball court, a volleyball net, and stuff of that nature for really to engage our students in that manner. We've also been looking at refining our dining experience for our students, for all populations, our commuters, and our residents. There are a couple different ways we've been looking at refining what we do well, what we need to improve on, and also new additions like our food trucks. And so our food trucks were something that we piloted this past fall and have really been staple and really our culture ongoing, up to the point now where we actually have 4 different types of food trucks all throughout the week that give a variety of options for our students, and actually leads into my next point because it keeps them there. We've also done a lot of working on our programming and traditions on campus. Programming this year, we've had an emphasis of late night, large scale events, as we know that when people think of college events, that's what they think of, right? They think of the stories, they think of the memories that really hold to them on those college nights. We really want to enhance that. We've done that through a couple examples. I'll just say we have had our Family Fall Festival, which is a large community scale event interacting with all parts of the community campus as well. We also had our Silent Disco that happened this past December, which is a brand new event that we brought to our campus. Graduation looked different this year. Actually, in February, we had our homecoming parade a couple streets over for the first time ever, which was absolutely amazing to see. Not only the interaction from our students, our faculty, our staff, but also the community as well. And like I said, that's a little bit of a snapshot of our student experience, but we'd love to have you there to really see our campus, hear from our students besides ourselves. And I do have the honor of introducing our next student, which is Fernanda Hurtado, who has been instrumental in our orientation program, whether it be implementing the actual plans and facilitating the days themselves. So Fernanda, could you please come up here?
Thank you, Mackenzie. So like Mackenzie said, my name is Fernanda Hurtado. I am a business management major with a minor in HR at Dalton State. It is my senior year. And so like Mackenzie was saying, I am a big part in orientation. So I am head OL as well as a student ambassador for Dalton State. And so what we do is we are the first faces that students see when they come and visit Dalton State. And once they have applied and been accepted, we are the students who are taking them and showing them their classes, taking them to their advisors, to meet their professors. And so to me, that is the most important part in a student's college career. I am the oldest of 4. And so I did not have anybody telling me, you know, this is what you need to do before college. This is how you apply here. And so I really like to base our trainings, our students, to help those first-gen students, to help those students who feel lost, to bridge that gap from high school into college. And so some of the ways that we are doing that and improving is having new programs. So this past summer, we welcomed around 1,700 students in our orientation program. So these are students that have already been accepted. And so in this, we wanted to, you know, think big, think wow, then how. And so what we've implemented this year is convocation. And so we have around 9 orientation days each week throughout the summer. The students are coming into Dalton State. They are taking their tours, they're picking up their schedule, talking to their advisors. And so then after that, after the summer is ready and finished, then we do convocation. So it is one day before the first day of school. And so they are coming in and it's all the incoming students. And we are going to have just interactive activities. We are going to have guest speakers, as well as having students there to show these students where their classrooms are and resources that we have on campus. So really working hard to bridge that gap and have them feel comfortable where they are, because we really truly want Dalton State to feel like they're home away from home. I'm from Dalton, born and raised. And so I graduated from Southeast 2020. And so having friends and coworkers that aren't from this area, that graduated from Dalton State, that are currently attending Dalton State, and they're like, yes, this is my home. And sometimes I even forget they're not from Dalton, and I'm like, hey, let's go to Cherokee, and they're like, where's that at? Oh, I forgot. So they really feel at home, and I just think that binds us together and really connects us. And so my next point I really want to bring is the connections that we make and the networking that Dalton State offers for these students. And so within orientation, we have recruitment week. And so we do take about 17 students and train them for the summertime, so then they can give the orientation to the incoming students. And so we focus on a lot of things that will not only help them academically, but outside of school as well. We do resume building. We do workshops where we show them how to make a LinkedIn, all that good stuff that they will need outside of college as well. And so Dalton State does play a big role. I always tell everybody they are resume builders. And I will be here firsthand telling you, I got my first job offer. Before graduating college, I am working at Tennessee Valley Federal Credit Union in their headquarters downtown Chattanooga in their marketing department. And when I tell you going through internships, jobs, they look at Dalton State students because of their resume, because of all the experience that they have and the Dalton State offering that experience. So I think that's really cool to see. And I just am so excited of what the future holds for Dalton State and really how we can help keep students here in Dalton, because it is a growing city, and I'm excited for the future. But yeah, thank you for having me. Thank you for having all of us. I will open the floor up to Cameron West, which I've had the pleasure to being on orientation with, and he's awesome. So.
Hello, everyone. So my name is Cameron West. I'm a third-year student going in as a rising senior at Dalton State College. Thank you, Fernando, for the introduction. Two big things that I like to showcase about what I get to do at Dalton State is I'm actually a student ambassador, but I'm also one of our co-executive directors over our campus activities board, which primarily focuses on our student life and student involvement, what I'm happily to talk about today. And so going in with that, some variations that we actually have opportunities for students is the opportunity, like Fernando brought up, about networking and growth, but not only within Dalton State as a whole, within the area as a whole. So this past January, me and Mackenzie had the opportunity to attend Dalton Day at the Capitol, where we've seen some of you guys there as well, where we had the opportunity to meet with legislators as well as senators in different variations across that day to be able to kind of showcase. But I think the most important thing that me and Mackenzie had a lot of fun was actually passing out the rugs to everyone when they came in the room. Fair warning, people will fight over them rugs, y'all. They are very determined to get their rugs that day. So if you ever need a rug, just fair warning, you're going to get fought to get that rug. So get there early. And then going in with that, some other opportunities that branch out is just our opportunities to network within the college as a whole. So we currently have upcoming, one of our renovations is actually moving our student life department to downstairs at our Lower Pope Student Center to be able to showcase the Office of Student Engagement and Belonging for all of our students. It's currently undergoing a new name, as well as opening the floor for students to be able to showcase kind of like a new design, a new transition into that field as well. So students are actually right now submitting artwork to be able to update that logo and update that design of what will now be our Office of Student Engagement and Belonging all across our campus. It'll be a nice little suite with floor to ceiling glass so students can see the open concept that they're offering for all of that to showcase that student engagement as a whole. Another opportunity that we have across our campus is actually going into our School of Business, which is our Small Business Development Center, which is a partnership that we just signed with the University of Georgia, which is open to small businesses here in Dalton, Georgia, but also spanning across to Calhoun, Georgia, where I'm actually from. I'm a 2020 high school graduate from Gordon Central High School. So being able to see that partnership happen at Dalton State College was a huge opportunity for me to know that it's not only just a small college, it is an opportunity for students to be able to grow within themselves, grow within their profession, as well as have the opportunity to grow. I currently work in a leadership position at a retail store, but I also have the opportunity to grow within myself within part-time positions as well as internships across our campus, where I just recently finished a co-op position with Shaw Industries. And I wouldn't have been able to get that co-op position if it wasn't for Dalton State providing that college and career fair for me to be able to find Shaw Industries as a whole. So I hope that tells you a little more about the student engagement as well as going through for our student involvement at Dalton State. And thank you guys so much for having us here.
Thank you, Dr. Fujko. And guys, that's awesome. It's really exciting to hear these updates. Dr. Popham?
Good evening. Thank you for this opportunity. We are very, very excited to showcase Georgia Northwestern Technical College. Just a few quick numbers, and then I'll turn it over to our students. But fall enrollment, we were up 9.8%. So we're excited to see our enrollment is trending upward. The current enrollment that we have for spring semester, like Dr. Fuchco said, we have a mini semester that starts Monday. So our numbers are still changing. But as of right now, we're up 11.8%, 11.6%. And like I said, we have a mini semester starting on Monday. So we're very excited about that. At GNTC, we have roughly 6,300 students. We serve the 9 counties of Northwest Georgia. We have 6 campuses across Northwest Georgia, one being, of course, at our Whitfield Murray campus. We have approximately 1,000 students that attend our Dalton campus here. And about 75 of those are dual enrollment students that are at the high schools or come over to our campus. I'm so very excited to have that opportunity. We offer, if you're not familiar, and I've included that in the packet that you have of what our programs are, but we have allied health and nursing programs. We have cyber and business programs. We have our industrial technologies programs, as well as our public service. But again, there's a whole list of our programs that are in your folder. Again, just wanted to talk about a little bit of 2 partnerships that we have that are growing partnerships at our Whitfield, specific to our Whitfield Murray campus here in Dalton. And the first of those is our partnership between GNTC, the Northwest Georgia College and Career Academy, and the Whitfield Fire Department. What we have done is we have a partnership with in dual enrollment with the EMT basic program. We have just received approval from our state board into the firefighter curriculum that will be at our Whitfield Murray campus. And so 2 of the students that you'll meet this evening are actually high school students from Northwest Whitfield who are enrolled in our EMT program. And so they are attending the College and Career Academy, but they're also gaining college credit from GNTC. It's just been, we have recently moved that program from our Catoosa County campus to our Whitfield Murray campus, and enrollment has grown from 5 students to over nearly 25 students just in the first semester. And so we're very excited about that. It's a day program and an evening program. And so a large partnership with the Whitfield County Fire Department and their engagement with us. And so we could not do what we do without their assistance in that program. Another partnership we have is with the Dalton Public Schools, and that's the Dalton Academy. Specifically, we had a program flooring installation that we added. It's just a very short-term technical certificate of credit that had 1 student in it. We worked with the Dalton Academy, and they said we have students interested. So now that is a dual enrollment program, and it is at capacity. And so those students are transported over from the academy to our campus, and they spend several hours with us each day. And so just a great program, a great opportunity for those students to have that exposure for college and gain college credit in a high demand area as it is. So just excited about the partnerships that we have going specific to Dalton. But I wanted to showcase a couple of our students this evening. I'm going to introduce 4 of them. 2 of them are prepared to speak, but I'm sure if you have any questions, all of them will be happy to answer. But Jaylee Hibbert and Violet Bazan are both high school seniors, as I mentioned, at Northwest Whitfield, and they were both enrolled in our EMT basic program. And then Sonia Avalos and Christian Tirador are both in our diesel technology program. Diesel technology is only offered at our Whitfield Murray campus. And right now we have over 17 students that are involved in participating in that. I do want to do a shout out a little bit to those that are participating tonight that aren't going to be up here, but we have our VP of Academic Affairs, Dr. Anderson, and our Associate VP of Academic Affairs, Jennifer Loudermilk, as well as our phenomenal faculty and program director, Nina Pyatt is our program director over paramedicine, which includes our EMT program. And Sal Gonzalez is our program director instructor over our diesel technology. So I will turn it over to our students and let them just kind of give you a little update on why they chose GNTC in the program they're in.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Sonia Avalos. I'm on my 2nd year of college, my last one, and I'm finishing up diesel technology. It's been a great experience for me. Such fun class. Sorry, I'm nervous. Okay, no. I started off as a dual enrollment student, and it happened because of the tours we get during school to go to college, to go and see the colleges. It was fun, and I really enjoyed the whole classroom and everything. And I really like sport cars, so that's why I was really interested. So diesel's fun too. Uh, Christian is my classmate.
Well, good evening to y'all. My name is Christian, as my classmate mentioned, but I'd like to give a shout out to my instructor, well, Sal, as I know him by. Man, like attending GNTC, it was really a really good experience for me. And I really like how my instructor not only was like he a good example in school, but he actually landed me a job at CNM Fleet Repair. So if y'all need a truck needs repairing, y'all will find me at CNM Fleet Repair. And just the experience I've had at GNTC as far as like the other staff goes and just really like super helpful, really. Like building resumes, how to like talk to people and like really get you out of your comfort zone. And they really included a lot of stuff there that I didn't even know that you could attend to play at GNTC. I believe they have like airplane mechanics and the whole variety of stuff. Mhm. Pretty much it.
Hi, my name is Jaylee Hipperts, and I'm a senior enrolled and dual enrolled into GNTC, taking the EMT program. And I've kind of written out my personal experience to share with y'all. I really appreciate the opportunity to be here to tell you about my experience. Coming into high school, I was really clueless as to what I wanted to do with my life. All I really knew was that I wanted it to be different than those that surrounded me. So I tried for a really long time to figure out what path I wanted my life to get on track with. And later on, between my sophomore and junior year of high school, I discovered that I was interested into going into sonography to become an ultrasound tech. And that became a really firm plan of mine. Like, I wasn't planning on changing my mind. You can see how that went. Whenever junior year came around, new program with GNTC, EMT came out and was introduced to the Whitfield County Career Academy. It immediately sparked my interest and gave me motivation to join. I knew that the program was not going to be easy, and I would be lying if I said I wasn't scared, especially because being a senior is already a lot of hard work in itself. GNTC, having the EMT program, has made me learn so many new things and has honestly helped shape my future for the better, with or without pursuing the career. Due to taking this program, has made me have a very difficult decision to make on what I want to do after I graduate, whether I want to pursue the career or go with my original plan with ultrasound technician. And I honestly think that I'll end up doing both careers because I don't want to pass up such great opportunities. I had and still have so much that I want for my future. And I treated the program as if it was a once in a lifetime opportunity, which may seem silly to some people because, it's just a college program. But to me, it wasn't. And I think that that's why I pushed myself so hard to succeed. Because in the beginning of the program, I went to my instructor and I asked her if she ever struggled like I did. And she said, "Oh, girl, yes." And she started laughing. And she told me that if I really wanted to do good, which I did, she said that I will. And so I pushed myself as hard as I could to, do good. And I just had to figure out my own way of doing things, just like many other people. And I have now met all those goals that I met because before I wasn't prepared to meet them. Taking the EMT program has taught me a ton about responsibility and has altered my mentality for the better. It is, in fact, absolutely very different from the average class, but honestly, in the best way possible. I'm very glad that GNTC could provide me with this program locally at the Whitfield Murray campus. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been able to grow into who I am today. I can't wait to be able to walk across the graduation stage knowing all the things I have accomplished and saying, I did it. I hope that the EMT program is here to stay for others to follow in my footsteps. And thank you for having me here. And I guess I'd like to introduce Violet Bazan, also taking the EMT program.
Hi, my name is Violet Bazan. I'm a high school senior enrolled at Northwest High School attending GTC, and I'm currently enrolled in the EMS course. Prior to joining the pathway, I was enrolled in the firefighter pathway at Career Academy. The firefighter pathway taught me discipline and self-determination and opened up so many doors for me, not only in my education, but also in my community here in Georgia. Once I finished the firefighter pathway, I left with my firefighter 1 and 2 certification at 17. I had just finished the pathway and was getting ready to start my senior year when I was informed by the school that they were now offering an EMS course here at GNTC. My school and counselors worked hard to get me an opportunity to take part in this class. I am now more than halfway through my basic EMT education, and I can already say the impact it will have on me truly empowers me to pursue my passion for helping others in a meaningful and impactful way. The EMS course has helped me so much for developing confidence and leadership qualities. The skills and knowledge we are gaining will not only benefit us in our future careers, but also in our everyday lives. As responsible and capable individuals, the dedication of the school and counselors to provide us with this opportunity is truly appreciated and will have a lasting impact on all of us. I look forward to utilizing this skill we have learned and make a positive impact on our communities and beyond. Thank you.
Thank you guys very much for this. You cannot help but listen and just feel so encouraged about what's coming out into the workforce and really appreciate everything that the schools are doing. And I hope that we will continue to be a good partner to both institutions. And the best part is hearing that it's people from here going to school here and then hopefully choosing to stay here. So that's awesome. Thank you guys very much for everything that you all do and for being here this evening. Thank you. Next, on our agenda, we have minutes from we have no department head reports this evening.
No, Madam Mayor.
Okay, just confirming that. You have before you the minutes of the mayor and council meeting of February 19th, 2024. This time I'll entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, any opposed? Item number 5, renewal of statewide mutual aid and assistance agreement. Mr. Pangle.
Yes, Madam Mayor, thank you. This is just the routine 4-year. This comes up every 4 years. This is the statewide mutual aid agreement. And as you can see, we provided a brief summary for your reading. The purpose of this primarily is just to provide an agreement in advance of any emergency, and it will provide rapid and efficient deployment of resources of all types across the state. This agreement is facilitated by GEMA, Georgia Emergency Management Agency, and more locally with WEMA. So what this agreement primarily does is it establishes a means of communication and a way of initiating when resources are needed. It also provides, toward the end of the agreement, it provides for reimbursement if needed. And as you'll see at the bottom of the page, if the city of Dalton uses resources as a result of the automatic aid agreement and renders aid to another county, it does provide a means for us to be able to get some reimbursement back as a result of that. And likewise, also, if we request assistance, it provides means for other municipalities or jurisdictions to ask for that as well. This agreement in the appendix in the back, it does provide for who is able to request that agreement, also as well as who is able to approve reimbursement. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Madam Mayor, I'd just like to say, as one who, Mr. Minor probably remembers this, I remember living in Brookwood and we had a house on fire. And it happened, Brookwood, some of the houses are in the county and some of them are in the city. This one happened to be in the county, and the city fire trucks all pulled up and just stopped and watched it burn. you know, and so that just shows you, how times have changed. Thank goodness. You have this mutual aid now. But that's the way it used to be back in the day.
It did.
wasn't
It
Chief?
did. Unfortunately, that was a common occurrence.
Yep.
You'd
Yep.
protect the city house.
I'll make a motion, we approve.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Thank you. Item number 6, ordinance 24-05, the request of Shazman Ali to rezone from heavy commercial M2 to general commercial C2, a tract of land totaling 4.05 acres located at 1028 Willowdale Road, Northwest Alton, Georgia, parcels 12-159-01-059 and parcel 12-159-01-065. Ethan?
Thank you, Madam Mayor and Council. The item before us here is a rezoning that face value is quite simple. It is a reduction in land use intensity from industrial and manufacturing land use in M2, which is our most intensive zoning district in the zoning ordinance, to general commercial. And the reason for this request is the subject property contains a structure that was formerly used for industrial use or warehousing that the petitioner has proposed to remodel for the use of an indoor multi-use athletic center, sort of, so to speak. So they're in the public hearing, they described to us their intent to build 7 indoor pickleball courts along with some refreshment, I believe, stands and things to that nature on the interior of the building. They did not express any interest currently in expanding the building itself, but did note that they do have plans to improve the driveway and accessibility to the property for more heavier commercial traffic. Based on the surrounding land use, this being in an area of transition between manufacturing and residential, a reduction in land use intensity would be overall a good change at this location to help buffer between manufacturing and residential. All of the buffers that would be required as in manufacturing would remain in effect for the subject property. And most of that buffering already exists in mature vegetation that could, at any point in the future with any remodeling or alterations to the property, can be required to remain. And that would be required by ordinance, so there would be no need for any special motion. Based on the comprehensive plan, the surrounding land use, and the proposal of the petitioner, staff reviewed this request, found no issues in terms of how it would impact any of the adjacent properties, and no conflict with the comprehensive plan, and recommend approval. The Planning Commission also recommended approval, and we heard no opposition at the public hearing.
I have a motion to approve.
Have a motion, have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Next, item number 7, ordinance 24-06, the request of Daniel Putnam to rezone from medium-density single-family residential R3 to rural residential R5, a tract of land totaling 0.32 acres located at 405 Mosdale Drive, Dalton, Georgia, parcel 12-241-02-009.
This request would be for the rezoning of the subject property from a medium-density, single-family zone district. And that medium-density zone district is intended to provide 4 lots as small as 7,500 square feet served by sewer to contain a single-family detached dwelling. The proposed change to rural residential, the R5 district, would allow one major change to the subject property from its current state, and that would be the allowance of a duplex dwelling as opposed to strictly single family. And based on the petitioner's request, their intent is to place a duplex on the subject property or construct a duplex on the subject property. According to the petitioner, there was a duplex there previously that would have been some sort of a remodel single-family dwelling, so it wouldn't have been a quote-unquote legal duplex. So that building was demolished some time ago. Property currently sits vacant, and in order for the petitioner to build a duplex dwelling, this is the most conservative zone district that would not be in conflict with the adjacent zoning. And so based on the surrounding zoning, this being in another area of transition between commercial and residential zoning. Based on the existing makeup of development in this area being already fairly blended in terms of density, staff did not cite any issues with existing zoning conflicts or comprehensive plan conflicts based on the amount of diversity in residential development in this transitional area. So the staff recommendation in this case was to approve, and there was no opposition heard at the public hearing from the public, and the Planning Commission did give a unanimous recommendation to approve the rezoning as requested.
I have a quick question.
Yes, sir.
Between this one and the last one, I'm noticing they're creating islands. Is that because of the transition? Is that why it's going through?
That's an excellent point, Councilman. The island would be an island, but where islands tend to become a major issue and a point of concern that we always like to address, we call them spot zones, for instance. And that is generally where you have an area that is entirely residential in nature, and you have a commercial or industrial rezoning, creating an island of that highly intensive zoning that bears no similarity in character or land use, permitted uses. In these cases, what we have are transitional areas where you have commercial and residential. And the R5 and R3 zone districts share a fair amount of similarities in permittable lot size and the fact that both do permit single-family dwellings. And in this case, the only significant difference is the introduction of a duplex, which, being in this transitional area, is where we believe that would be a reasonable increase in density.
And my last question would be, I guess with them building, will they have to go by, would it be in county and city all on that little street right there? Will they have to build the city standards like sidewalk and all that, or no? Do you know?
It would, Councilmember Goodlett, it would require in the plan review that any city standards be met because this particular lot is in the city. So all of our departments would review it and enforce local city codes.
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
I'm just curious, all these that are medium density zoned, are they all single family? Or are there some grandfathered in? Is it some mixed use in through there?
There's some grandfathered uses in that zone district. In some cases, it's fairly conservative. There's a blend of density. There's some lot sizes that fall well under 7,500 square feet, and some structures that probably fall under 1,000 square feet in that district as well. So there's a fair amount of nonconformity in this area.
Any further questions? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Have a motion, have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? Not all in favor? Any opposed? Thank you, Ethan. Item number 8, resolution 24-09 to approve the acceptance of funds from the distribution of certain cemetery trust.
Madam Mayor, I've asked Mr. Minor to present this. It's a very unique item, so he's been working on this for several weeks and glad that he's here tonight to present.
Thank you, Andrew, and Madam Mayor and members of the council. This is somewhat of an unusual request. This is a request by Wells Fargo Bank to have the city join into a petition to terminate 3 very old trusts and receive the benefits of those trusts, approximately $55,000 as it relates to some cemetery plots from 3 old families. So by way of background, Mr. W.C. Martin was a resident of the city of Dalton a long time ago and built a house that now houses the First Presbyterian Church, the Martin Home. And in his will, he left a specific bequest of $2,000 to upkeep his family's cemetery lots. So the First National Bank of Dalton, of which he was the president, maybe at that time, was named as trustee. His will was probated in 1941. That amount of money is now approximately $14,000. Money's been used through the years to pay the trustee and to maintain his family cemetery plot. Similarly, a Miss Elizabeth Roberts left $2,000 to the First National Bank of Dalton as trustee to maintain her family cemetery lots. that were located in the West Hill Cemetery. Mr. Martin's cemetery lots, interestingly enough, some were in the West Hill Cemetery and some were down in Tilton in their cemetery. And there was a third one, Mrs. Margaret Bard, who died in 1934. She directed in her will that the First National Bank of Dalton be the executor and that they sell her house and they take the proceeds from the sale of her house and put it in trust and hold it to benefit her family's cemetery lots, which are partly in West Hill and partly in the old Presbyterian cemetery up on off Stone Street up in Old Happy Top. So in any event, Wells Fargo inherited this. First National Bank of Dalton, became First Atlanta and Wachovia, and now it's Wells Fargo. They are not able to maintain this because the cost of maintaining these trusts are eating into the corpus, and pretty soon it'll all be gone. So they contacted Andrew, I guess, and asked Andrew if we would be willing to take over these trusts. And Andrew asked that our firm look into it, and we weren't particularly encouraged to do that because we didn't want to have to maintain the terms of the trust. So they have come back and asked us if we would be willing to accept the money outside the terms of the trust. So in order to do that, they are going to need to petition the Superior Court of Whitfield County to terminate each of these three trusts because they're no longer willing nor able, they say, to serve the purposes of the trust. And once the trusts are terminated, there is no donee that would be willing to accept the terms of the trust, that is, maintain these family plots. So what we've suggested to them, to Wells Fargo, that is, we've suggested that that we would join in the petition and agree to ask the Superior Court to terminate these three trusts, and we would be willing, on behalf of the city of Dalton, would be willing to accept this money, which I say is $55,000. It'll of course be different by the time we finalize this. And it would then go into the city's general cemetery fund. The city would not be required to maintain any of these plots, maintain anybody's headstones or anything. It's just money that would go into our general fund and then general cemetery fund and then be used for the maintenance of our cemeteries. So as I say, it's a bit of an unusual request. The procedural aspect of it would be if you're in agreement to pass a resolution to allow the mayor to sign documents to consent to the petition to be filed in the Superior Court and accept receipt of the funds. Once that's done, we'll ship this off to Wells Fargo. Their trustees will look it over, sign everything. It would be filed in Superior Court. At some time later, there would be a court hearing. The city would not be required to go to the court hearing or really have any further involvement. Eventually, a judge would rule, I'm sure, that the funds could be dispersed, trust would be terminated, the money would come to the city.
So they didn't have to find any errors or anything for this?
They do not have to notify the heirs, as I understand it, but I did talk to the Wells Fargo attorneys. There will be notices published in the legal section of the paper, and the Superior Court judge may require that, Councilman. I don't really know, but the city of Dalton would not be involved in that piece of it. Steve?
Don't want to get in the weeds too much, but of course, the city maintains the old Presbyterian cemetery as well as but the Colonel Martin's plots down there in Tilton, who maintains that cemetery, for instance?
I don't know. I had a number of discussions about that with Wells Fargo attorney and basically said, Tilton is not near Dalton. It's a long way away. We don't maintain that cemetery. So we, as the city of Dalton, can't be involved in that. So what they've done, I don't know that they ever were able to find anybody that maintains that cemetery. I have no personal knowledge of that, but they're just going to simply ask the judge to allow all the funds to go to the city of Dalton.
Right.
And then there would be
go neglected down there in Tilton when that was the purpose, but.
Yes, sir. And so I guess that family plot will no longer be maintained. Any other questions?
I make a motion, we authorize to move forward.
Have a motion, have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Item 9, amendment number 2 to A1A document B101-2017 for project renovations and additions to the existing John Davis Recreation Center.
Thank you, Madam Mayor and Council. This is the second such amendment to the original master AIE document with Greg Sims, architect. This memorializes what I presented at the last work session, which was the increase of the owner's budget to 12 million, which included just over $1 million of what we call FF&E furniture, fixtures, and equipment. And we've placed a new owner's budget of 10.5 million, which is hopefully the out the door number before FF&E. It updated the project milestone dates to begin construction May 1st of this year and complete by August 31st, 2025. And then the final concession was Greg Sims, architect, agreed to reduce their architectural fee as a result of the project budget increasing from 7.5% to 6.25%. I'll be glad to answer any questions.
So we're probably going to lose 3 summers of having a public pool in Dalton.
Yes, Councilmember Farrow, Caitlin and I are working with Dalton High to make Dalton High available for swim lessons, but there's hope that the project will be wrapped up to the point where the pool could open next summer. But again, a lot of that timeline will be based on the weather conditions and things like that. And we've impressed upon the contractor the need to try to get that open as soon as possible.
Motion to approve.
Motion to have a second.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Andrew, I think you have some updates.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I know we're in the late hours of the evening, so I'll try to go through this as quick as possible. Just please interrupt me if you have any questions. On the mill line project, I'm sorry, this is not matching up with my screen here. Bear with us just a second as we try to get back on the screen there. While they're working on that, I think I know what the slide says. The mill line project, as you know, we've been wrapping that project up. We're very excited that the trail will be able to be open sometime in early to mid-March. Public Works is working on a few final punch list items in coordination with the contractor, but Caitlin Sharp and I have been working to schedule an official ribbon cutting for the public to come out and have a ceremony to officially open this project. But realistically, we may be able to have a soft opening before we actually have a ribbon cutting. And so I suspect sometime in hopefully the next 2 weeks, the trail can open to the public. And then sometime in late March, we'll have a formal ribbon cutting ceremony. We touched on this project, the John Davis Center project. The contractor is working to publish the trade contractor RFPs. This is all the subcontracting work that will be performed. That will go out this month, and the proposals will be due in April. And we've already talked about the anticipated start and completion date for the project. I did include on this slide a couple of renderings the architect has provided of the interior. You all have seen the exterior rendering before. They were able to replace the Mercedes with a Volkswagen at my request. But the interior, you see there's the atrium when you walk into the building, and then you see what the basketball court will look like. Another milestone update on a 2020 SPLOST project, the police department's property and evidence wing that you see there on the screen. The police department and I and the architect have been working to get this out for RFP, our proposals. That milestone was reached on Friday. It is currently out for proposals, and the contractors are scheduled to have those due back to the city on April 2nd. We anticipate hopefully an early May notice to proceed with a completion date of June 2025. And as you see in the rendering there, what it will look like situated next to the existing building. Have several.
Andrew, will that be to the rear of the building?
It will be due north of the existing building in that green space there where the impound lot is and some yard space there.
Okay.
Regarding stormwater projects, we've got several updates there as well. The contractor is moving right along on the phase 2 of the Ridge Street stormwater bypass. You see photos there with the trench boxes getting the pipe laid. We estimate they're about 20% complete with the project, and they have run into and out of rock conditions that we talked about at the last council meeting, but right now things are looking positive, Chad tells me, and hopefully they're out of rock for the next few weeks. Another active stormwater project that's taking place is the Serratine pipelining project. I showed photos, I believe, at the last work session. They're making good progress on that 2,000 or so linear feet of pipe that is being rehabilitated, and they hope to wrap up the project by the end of spring. On the next slide, I'll talk about projects soon to commence. We're reaching the start date on a couple of projects that we've talked a lot about the last year or so at Finance Committee and work sessions. And that is the Huntington Road Flood Mitigation and Stormwater Improvements Project. That's the rendering you see in the top right, converting the existing single-family lot there into a stormwater pond with landscaping. The demolition of the structure is scheduled to take place in 3 weeks or less, assuming we have not located any asbestos in the house. But that should be underway in about 3 weeks. And then Public Works will actually be completing this project using in-house forces, and then we'll have a third-party maintenance contractor doing all the landscape maintenance in perpetuity. The second project that's about to commence is what we call the Prater Alley Drainage Basin Improvements, which features the detention pond adjacent to City Hall and culvert upgrades at West Tyler Street in between Thornton Avenue and Chattanooga Avenue. We have kind of finalized on a preliminary basis the acquisition of the driving school next to City Hall. And so the demolition has been scheduled for 2 to 3 weeks out. The building did have asbestos, so it will take us a little bit of time to have a certified contractor to remove the asbestos tile on the building. The project will be let to a private contractor, and it's currently out for bids. Bids are due on April 5th, and it's a 6-month completion schedule between the two aspects of work here at City Hall and then on Tyler Street. And I'll update you at the next work session. By that time, hopefully we'll have the bids in. The other stormwater projects in the what we call preliminary engineering phase, the Valley Drive stream bank restoration, which is really phase 4 of the Walnut North plan that we charted a course last year to really 2 years ago now to pursue. As you know, that has been awarded to a stream restoration contractor out of the Atlanta area. They have submitted their stream buffer variance request to EPD, so we're in a holding pattern until we hear back from EPD. But we do anticipate completion of that stream restoration by October 2024. And phase 3, which would be the final phase, actually starting probably while the stream restoration project's going on, is to connect the pipe system that we're installing now on Ridge Street down through Franklin Street behind some of the houses on McFarland Avenue, and then running a new line of pipe down Valley Drive to help provide the needed flow relief to the houses in this area. So where we're at on that is we've approved a 90% plan set, and Public Works staff is working to obtain easements from the necessary property owners that are affected, and we'll bring those back before the council for final approval once we have those ready. Glenwood Avenue stormwater improvements, we've discussed this some. This has been ongoing for a couple of years now, but we have reached the 30% plan completion status. We are having to amend the plans because the initial plans called for acquisition of 2 parcels. We've been able to fine tune the engineering, hopefully only to impact 1 parcel, but we are having to relocate a proposed segment of pipe to eliminate that property acquisition on the lower reaches of the project limits. And then no major update from the last meeting on the Temple Bethel project, other than that Mr. Minor has been working with the members of the church synagogue to transfer the property to the city. And so hopefully at either the next meeting or the first meeting in April, we'll bring a resolution before the council to consider accepting that property to construct the project that you see there on the right. Just a few other miscellaneous updates. I know not everybody could make it to Arbor Day, but the city landscape division of Public Works, the tree board, and some of the elected officials and staff got together on February 16th for the Arbor Day celebration at Harlan Godfrey Civitan Park. And it was to commemorate Dalton having a Tree City USA designation for the 34th year in a row. So next year will be real special as we celebrate the 35th year. And I believe that was all the updates that I had.
Thank you, Andrew, for those updates. Does anyone have any questions of Andrew regarding those updates? If not, and there's no further business before this council, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
A motion and a second. All in favor? We are adjourned. Thank you.